Piece of the planet, you know what it is. Adisa the Bishop, you know what I'm saying? The Black Ron Burgundy is in the building. And I'm chilling with one of my homies from like, how long have we been cool? I mean, when was it that you did the DMC at the HHCF place? Well, how long ago was that? Was that 4 years ago? 5?
2016.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I see the dope
At the old
beats.
HHCF headquarters. You know what I'm saying? We did the DMC battle. Shout out to Christy Z. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying? Shout out to all the turntablists around the world because this is how
love
we
you.
rock out here. And I'm chilling with none other than DJ Akiko Luv, battle DJ, scratch artist, baller, representing LA. Welcome to Bishop Chronicles.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy to have you
I'm
on.
I'm so honored to be here. I just can't thank you enough. You just be continue to be like this amazing supporter of mine. For someone who lacks confidence at times and
You
just
should not.
you've just reached out to me and given me amazing opportunities and continue to do so. And I'm just very grateful and thank you for your belief in me and wow, just your time and
Well,
energy you give to me. Thank you.
well, no problem. You're welcome because you're dope. And I remember when we did that battle. Do you remember how packed that place was?
Yeah.
That place was
Yeah.
packed. Like I thought the cops were gonna come. I was sure. I
Really?
was sure we were violating some fire codes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There
Probably.
were hella people at that battle, and I didn't expect it. I was like, okay, we'll have
Yeah.
100, maybe two. Yo, Cats was like, excuse me, excuse, excuse me. I was like, yo, and you killed it. You
Oh,
killed it.
thank you. Thank you.
I champion you and I champion your work because you're dope and you're a good person. And that's all I really care about. That's hip hop to me. If you're dope and you're a good person, you should help that person rise. I just believe that. And you did so well and you were so cool. And my daughter was like, that's my favorite DJ. And I was like, mine too. So, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Been dope.
That's
Been
just
dope.
love. Thank you.
You
Thank
know?
you.
So, I wanted to talk to you because we are in a crazy time. We got the COVID, we got the lockdowns, we got the masks and no masks and all this other stuff. And two of the things that people are really starting to get into during this time of COVID is chess, which I love,
Oh,
and turntablism, DJing at the house, right? And setting it off, right? Especially since D Nice did that thing and everyone, so everybody's trying to do their thing, whatever, right? So while that is dope, while that is dope, a lot of people don't know where to start. A lot of people don't know how to begin. What does it mean to be a DJ in the beginning? Now, on your Facebook page, right? I saw a video that you posted a while ago. How long ago was it where you were talking about the beginnings of scratch basics and DJ basics? I felt like it was
I
fairly recent.
wouldn't tell you. I don't know.
But you were saying that you started DJing in 1998.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I wanted to first ask you about what was your introduction to turntablism and DJing like in 1998,
Mhm.
and what was your beginning in this path
Oh
like?
my God, it was so much fun. At that time, my introduction, like to many, was that epic showcase between the executioners and the invisible scratch pickles. I saw that video. I was just floored. I was like, what are they doing? I want to do
I
what
was
they're
there
doing.
for that. That was
You were
crazy.
there? Oh my
I was
goodness.
there. I was there. People
Oh my
forget, people
goodness.
forget that when I talk about hip hop, I really know about every element because in some level I was a rogue scholar in the mix. I was there. Yeah. That was
Mm,
sick.
that's like, everybody's uh, turntablist moment, like rounders for poker, the poker booth. Right? Like
Totally.
everybody, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it was that battle, that tape. I was with my friend. We would break dance
Yeah.
and have fun that way. And he had a DJ, a cousin that DJ'd who did mobile gigs.
Mm.
And so we're just messing with some turntables. And as soon as I saw that tape, I was like, I want turntables. So I saved my pennies for summer my freshman college year, and I never spent that type of money before. Like that
Right.
was the most money I ever spent, and I bought myself 2 decks and a Pro Vestex 05. I was
Okay,
like, wow.
so what were your turntables?
Techniques.
Techniques, 12s,
Yeah.
hundreds? You got
Yeah.
the 12s off top? See,
1200s. Yeah.
I wasn't well, when I was DJing, it was when people used to DJ with rocks. It was so old.
Well,
But
I had a lot more of a humble beginning actually. We the same group of people, like my boys in college, we were fraternity boys too. At the
right,
time.
right.
We were still homies in fifth, sixth grade. Actually, we knew each other since kindergarten.
That's crazy.
We started DJing in fifth, sixth grade, but it was just too expensive. So we were using
Man.
one Technics turntable, but it wasn't like a 1200. It was
Right, right.
something um, much more affordable, and a realistic Radio Shack mixer.
Was it the one that had all the faders that only went up, no crossfader, or did you
Ooh,
have a
that's a good
crossfader?
question. That's a good question. I
My
think
first
it did have a
mixer was that one.
crossfader.
So even to this day, I actually don't really mess with the crossfaders. I go up because that's
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
mixer I
yeah.
had was the realistic.
Yeah, that's
Hilarious.
He's got hamster. Yeah, yeah. That transition.
So what were the hip hop records that you remember early on? Let's take it back in the early. What are the earliest hip hop records that you remember just playing and loving? For like take
Ooh.
DJing out, like just like I love this song. I
Ooh.
love this. You know,
That's a great question. Vinyl.
any song, just
Oh,
any song, but vinyl's fine. But like songs that you just remember, like yo, this song was dope to me.
for some
That song was
reason, like the vibe, the energy, his rhythm, his vibe. Like I love Heavy D.
hey, Heavy D, R.I.P.
Oh my
But
god,
now Heavy D was so dope.
girls will love me.
Heavy D, it's weird too because he was so amazing when he passed away, and he still gets props. But
Mm.
like, I still don't think he gets the props he really deserves.
Oh my goodness, I loved watching him perform.
He could dance, he could rap, he could
Yeah, oh my
act.
goodness,
He was
an entertainer.
funny.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Everybody go look up something by Heavy D right now. You know what I'm saying? Like well, not right now, but after you finish Bishop. You know what I'm saying? So what about, okay, so you get these turntables, you get your mixer.
Yeah.
Did you have somebody teaching you how to do stuff? Like how were you getting your knowledge? Because back in my day, you had somebody who laced you.
Right, and I guess that the same core of people and friends, like we had other friends who DJ'd and battled as well, and so that helped.
Mhm.
But at that time, 98, we weren't sharing very much.
Right.
Yeah, so like whatever video footage I could get my hands on, whatever on the radio, like if I could catch any of the junkies on the radio.
Yeah, beat junkies.
Oh, I was so spoiled in the 90s. Oh, the radio was so good.
Did you used to go see him set it off ever?
I'm sorry, like
Did you ever go see the beat junkies do shows? Or
Um,
did you just pick
yeah.
up the VHSs whenever they popped up, or like what was the
I'm
vibe?
trying to think. I'm like, yes, of course, like, throughout the years, but like when I
Right.
first started out, I'm trying to think like I had the complete honor to DJ with Icy Ice. I was like,
Woo!
wow,
Shout out
I'm
to
like,
Icy
that's how you do
Ice.
it?
You know what I'm
I'm like,
saying?
he blew my mind. I didn't know that you could do that. With I was
Hey.
like, what? That's allowed? You could do
Yeah.
that? Like, wow. Okay.
That's possible. I didn't know that was possible.
And I would say he's by far the DJ who's just made a mark on me by I've never seen another DJ who would say like just a master on the mic as well. It just
Now
blew
that is
my-
a separate skill for
Oh
a
my
DJ, right?
God.
Because
Oh
there's a
my
lot of
God.
DJs that can be like, but like you give them a mic and they're like, is this thing on? Hey guys, I'm a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Not the case with Icy Ice at all, ever.
Oh, the epitome of a party rocker, and
Yeah.
wow, I learned so much just watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's dope, man. Shout out to all the beat junkies. You know, we just had Rhett Matic on not too long ago.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah, yeah, and I gotta
yeah.
get Babs on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hell yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Love it.
I got love for the Beat Junkies forever. You know, straight up. So how did you? What were your records that you first started? Did you focus on juggling? Did you focus on scratching? Did you focus on
Scratching.
blends? You were
Scratching.
straight
For
scratching.
7 months, I was just scratching. No mixing, no blends. And then what I figured out was like, hey, I started DJing for our fraternity parties and
Mm.
started making money off the gigs.
I heard that.
People
What
would
college
pay.
were you at, and what fraternity were you in?
Let's see. Undergrad, I did go to Cal Poly Pomona. I was at an open fraternity at Cal State LA, and I repped Beta Omega Phi, meaning, open fraternity. We were all from all over UC, Cal State,
Yeah,
JCs,
yeah,
private schools as well. So,
yeah.
yeah, we're all over Southern Cali. We had
That
good
sounds
times.
sick.
Yeah,
Did you guys have crazy pledging stuff?
of course.
What was the craziest? What was the craziest pledge thing?
That I could share and not get my fraternity in trouble. Whatever you could think of and heard and
Right,
whatever.
all
Like,
of that.
yeah, we did that. Um, yeah, there were no deaths, so we
Right, which is
did.
important.
Yes, of
You
course.
know, that's awesome. We enjoy the
We
living.
had tragedies that some Greek.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it can go too far sometimes for
well,
sure.
yeah, for sure.
But you had some good times and you rocked some parties.
Yeah, and that's like where I got my chops. Rocking those college parties, the fraternity parties, sorority parties, doing the clubs, um, and yeah, uh,
Dope.
went
What was the
into.
first scratch you had? Like I'll give you an example. When I was young and understand, like I was scratching pre-transform, right? Like early days. The scratch to do if you were dope, the litmus test for dopeness in 1983 was if you could match Dr. Dre's solo scratch from Surgery.
Really?
If you could do the scratch from Surgery, you were unquestionably dope. Very few people could do that scratch.
Dr. Dre?
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
Huh.
The song is called Surgery. And
Okay.
he has an opening scratch that for its time, there was nothing like it.
Huh.
Again, this is pre-transform. This is
Yeah.
pre-transform. No
Yeah.
one scratched like Dr. Dre. He was unquestionably dope. And I remember I went to the guy who was teaching me how to DJ, and we both had that record. And he was like, we're playing it. And I was like, man, Dr. Dre is like crazy, right? And he was like, yeah, he was like, can you do that scratch? And I was like, no, man, that's Dre, fool. Like nobody can do that.
So what
He
was
said
the scratch? Can you explain it? Was it a pattern? Was
it
it
was a pattern.
okay?
It
Okay.
was just an ill solo. So it'd be like, it was like, because it was like, he was like a doctor, right? So he'd
Okay.
be like calling Dr. Dre to surgery. Tuck, 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 tuck. Like if you play, I can do that scratch right now to this day. I can match it. And he matched it. And I was like, teach me, sensei. And so he was like, all right. So he started showing me what's up. But like that scratch was dope. I felt like obviously the Rocket scratch was dope. Grand Mixer DST. Who else had the dope scratch? I mean, Joe Cooley was later, but
Yeah.
DJ Joe Cooley was out of control.
Yeah.
Obviously Cash Money, obviously Jazzy Jeff, you know what I'm saying? But that's when the transform starts and everything changes after the transform starts.
That's just crazy how like your description in the scratch evolution or development or just people who impacted
Yeah.
scratching. You name DJs and you're alluding to more or less like tracks or scratch production.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
where I'll be frank with you, like my knowledge and understanding of scratching is just not like that. Where
But you came in after it was so much more developed. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm almost talking archaic scratching. Like if you heard it, you might not be impressed by it. You know what I mean? You'd be like, I could do that in my sleep.
that I just appreciate that history, like that. I'm like, I get jazzed about that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like, damn, I want to go back and study it, and like, I get such a kick out of seeing that. I'm like, okay, like this is how they incorporate scratching. This is how they incorporate with the music. Where this is where I think there's that gap where like the musicality is lacking these days.
Now
So
that is
technical.
a deep thing, right? Because speaking of the musicality, in those days, I'll tell you who was just still, but I mean, obviously because he's such a producer now, you don't tend to think of him as the DJ he is, but the first most melodic scratcher in hip hop DJing to me is Premier. No one
Hmm.
no one is as melodic with their scratching as Premier. And the only other person that I ever knew who was near that and is damn close is a DJ back in the day from the Bay. You wouldn't know, but it's Rob Ski. Rob Ski back in the day from Daly City. Everybody Rob Ski, but he now lives in Florida and goes by Rob Flo. But
Mm.
Rob Flo's musicality in scratching is only bested by Premier. Only. He's the only person. And I'm saying through the history of my life, I listen to so many DJs. I've been to so many battles. I've been in so many backyards. I've been to so many house parties. Rob Ski, aka Rob Flo, and Premier. But the musicality that Premier is able to deliver on a turntable for me is akin to like when, and only people who know jazz know, like when Miles Davis blows in a horn, it's Miles. And that's a particular kind of skill. I
Mm.
almost always know when Premier is doing his thing because the musicality is in the scratch and it's not matched.
Gotcha. Yeah. When I think of musicality, the first thing that pops out is D Styles.
Yeah. D Styles, hella musicality for sure.
It's that funk and flow and control, and I just
Yep.
love it.
So what was like the first, so I told you, okay, so I started with this, Dr. Dre scratch.
Yeah.
Was there a scratch solo that you followed, or was there a routine that anybody else did that you tried to like match? Like how did you say, okay, I'm at the level? Because I watched people try to do Dre scratch and they couldn't do it, and he's like, he's trash. They kind of got it.
Hey.
Like what was your litmus test at the time for your skill? Like what was the bar?
I was so misguided.
You're just a rebel, a rebel scratch artist.
Yeah. Thinking back, like I was trying to do the crab scratch right away.
Yeah.
And I trying to think I was trying to emulate either a chirp sound,
Right,
or doing single quick flares, like stuff like just way beyond.
yeah.
And like,
Shout out to DJ Flair.
and thinking back, that's super, like, I didn't have a teacher. I don't.
Right, you're a Ronin. You're a Ronin DJ. Wow.
Or like these days, like when I practice, it's mostly practicing root scratches and fundamentals.
Which brings me back to my point. What is a root scratch and a fundamental for someone who is brand new? They're at the house, they got their setup, but they don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah, 5 scratches. Baby, of course, tear. And then it doesn't matter what step. It depends on what you're comfortable with, but
Right.
a stab, transform, and a chirp.
Yeah.
Those are your root scratches, and everything beyond that, like it builds to all your other more complex.
Now let me ask you, as someone who was an older DJ who was scratching like before the transform, like who kind of created the idea that those were the root scratches? I'm curious. Do you know? I'm curious because I'm asking out of curiosity and like.
So that concept I got as a student at QSU, Cuba Scratch University. So
shout out to Q.
Yeah. I spent quite a bit on my turntables education.
Right.
Working with different coaches and teachers and being part of different schools. It's been a lot of fun.
So where did you go and who were your teachers? Like, I'm curious. I'm always curious as to like the
Yeah.
path, you know, because to me it's like a martial artist, right? Like if you know who someone's teachers are, you can kind of get a sense of how they think and how they battle. You know, that's all. I'm
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. Well, scratching is definitely my martial art.
Yeah,
My way
yeah.
of life. As far as teachers that I work with, I'm trying to think who was the very first DJ I decided to hire. I think Mr. Victor
Okay,
from 9 o'clock in France.
okay.
Shout out to him. Three-time world team champs.
Word.
Amazing, amazing. Um, and oh my goodness, like he taught me so much. Oh wow. Um, got me in the mindset of understanding more of that Euro style, um, Lajad mapping. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
Nope, I'm out.
yeah, like if you look at it like style, like the French or Europe, UK, there's when there's juggling or there's scratch sets, it's a lot of it's like deconstructed and pre-produced and everything like it's
Mm-hmm.
so very perfectly and um some sets have no back cueing involved at all,
Right, right.
so and that's done through production, so
Word.
and it's just a different way of battling, but it's
I really never realized that. You know
oh
what I'm
my
saying?
goodness, it just
I
blows
really
my
never
mind.
realized that about the UK DJs.
So
You know what I'm saying?
he introduced me to that and really helped me fill in the gaps of my fundamentals that I had.
This is
Um,
probably before your time, but did you know a DJ named DJ Leacy from London? You ever heard of Leacy?
ooh,
Leacy.
what year was he active?
Leacy would have been. Nah, you weren't. You wouldn't know because that would have been like '93. DJ
Okay,
Leacy was like '93. And
okay,
like Lisi
yeah,
was off the chain as a scratch DJ, but
yeah,
really Lisi's skill was in the way that he would put breaks together, and he always had rare grooves. Like he was playing records I really didn't know where the hell he got them from. You know, when I would listen to his mixtape, and he made me mad in a happy way because I was like, I don't even know where that's from, right? But it's dope,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But unfortunately, Lisi died in a car crash. Really young, really young, you know, but RIP Lisi, man. But like, I didn't realize that the UK sets had their own kind of.
Oh yeah, it's like if you could think of any sport, like even I'm sure in jiu-jitsu, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, those
Like
styles.
American jiu-jitsu, American Brazilian jiu-jitsu is probably very different than Brazilian jiu-jitsu in Brazil, right? Or, you know, Japanese jiu-jitsu, right on the ground. Still going to be very different.
No, that like these just touched on Japan. Like Japan turntablism is oh my god, a different level. They're just beasting out there. I just have so
Yeah.
much
And
respect for them.
you know, it's funny because even though like hip hop came from North America, like if it wasn't for Europe and Japan, where would we be?
Ah.
Right? Like I mean, we wouldn't, you know, we'd be dope, but we wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like in between, like we have these huge tentpole moments in hip hop here, but like they keep it going on the day to day, you know, on the daily grind. I'm always impressed by them, you know, always impressed by them.
Mm, yeah, yeah, and this just speaks like how powerful like turntablism is for people and how that art reaches people, speaks to people. It's beautiful.
Nah,
I
totally,
love it.
totally.
Yeah.
So when was your first battle?
My first battle. Wait, hold on. Before my first battle, let me finish my coaches. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me get these coaches. Lay them out.
yeah,
Lay them out.
so like Rob Swift, shout out to Rob Swift.
Mm,
Melody. Um,
Brolic arm. I don't have one, but you know.
and I'm trying to think of who else. Oh, and then of course, Qbert, QSU. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Q
So
dog.
yeah, it was fun.
I made my second beat ever at Q's house.
Your second
The
ever.
second beat I ever made in my life, I made at Cubert's house.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so share the story.
So, have you ever heard of FM20?
No.
Okay, so FM20 was one of the most devastating rap crews in the history of Earth, based out of the Bay Area. It was Nim, also known as FMD, the Furious Mind Destructionist, and H2O, also known as Harrell Harris. And they teamed up with Qbert Mixmaster Mike and Apollo, and they were FM duo. They were like hardcore metal and rap, but I mean hardcore thrash, like Slayer level metal. You know what I mean with rap, but they were too early. The world wasn't ready, you know. But Nim used to go to, where did Nim go to? He went to Reardon High School. I went to Oceana High School. And my boy who lived down the street went to Reardon. He was like, oh, my boy Nim raps. So he connected us, me and him connected. And he was like, oh, I'm about to go make a beat over at Q's house. And that's how I met Qbert. Then this was like 1986 or 7.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, 1986 or 7. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Before I do forget, you know, we talked about a little bit like how the world is looking for outlets and stuff.
Yeah.
And you mentioned chess.
Yeah.
We gotta chess it up.
Let's go. I'm down.
I'm still looking for that. Are you on Light Chess or chess.com?
No, I'm on chess.com.
You are?
Just as Hip Hop Chess.
Okay, Hip Hop Chess?
Yeah.
Okay. But
I just logged in after not being in for like 2.5 years.
Okay, we're gonna play right now then, or after we're done. I gotta get a few games with you. Like,
all right, we're gonna hook it up. We're gonna hook it up.
Yes, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm fairly new to the game. I'm just basically using Queen's Gambit to open.
Sweet. That's my favorite gambit. What?
Is it really?
Don't steal my style. Don't come in stealing my style.
I'm pretty aggressive. I love being aggressive.
I'm hyped. I love this.
Like I am on the tables.
Yeah. So how did your battle go though?
My first battle.
What happened to the battle?
My first battle. Oh, I don't remember my very first battle. What is it? Is it
that's actually
I want to
really
say
cool.
a World Records battle. I want to say.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a quick mix battle, perhaps.
Okay. How'd you do though?
I don't remember.
Hey, that's great. That's great. I think that's good.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Because if you won, then you're not really tripping off it, and if you lost, it didn't impact you.
Right. My very first battle. I don't remember my very first battle, and wow, that's crazy.
No, that's cool. I think that's cool. Now you've put out some break records with the Scratch Snobs. Can you talk about those records and what inspired you to make them?
Ye versus Tay.
Yeah. Can you show them that? Is there one around?
Oh, give me a minute right here. Let me pull one out here.
Ye versus Tay is a battle record that she put out, and it's really dope. The cover art is sick. And if you don't know what a battle record is, people, it is a record with sounds on it that are made for DJ battles and scratching. So rather than having like a complete song, it's a bunch of sounds. Like it might be people counting 1, 2, 3, you know, so people can scratch that. Or it could be like a car crash, or it could be like some kung fu stuff like my style is the best. And so I challenge you. Stuff like that. Yeah, Ye versus Tay. You know what I'm saying? Fresh. So what made you put that out and what's on it? Tell the people what that is.
Yeah, so Ye versus Tay is Kanye versus Taylor Swift.
I love it.
And so side A is all about samples on Kanye.
Yes.
Side B is Taylor Swift. Scratch samples. I made this with my homie Mike C. Scratch Stomps. Right now we're kind of laying low.
Yeah.
So this might be a collector's item.
Yeah, you can't get that, partner.
Yeah.
You gotta beg somebody on eBay to come up off that there. You know, maybe. So you got any new ones or not?
Not right now.
Break
I think
records?
we're in the works and project I shared with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Working on some things right now.
Yeah.
The chest. They're coming out though.
Secret.
Yeah.
That's X-File stuff. We can't tell you. We got to kill you. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want to do that. You know? So tell me about some of your more recent battle experiences and what have you learned through those?
Damn, it has to connect with that question you asked me earlier about like identity, and when I battled, it's therapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
the last battle that I remember was, let's see, 2019 LA DMC,
Okay. Where was that at?
Long Beach.
Man, I love LA. I might have to move down
Yeah.
there one of these days. I don't know. I might have to do it. I
Oh
might have to do it.
no. Okay, no, my last one was in the Bay. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
My
Was that
last
when I saw you?
Yeah, that's the last one I saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hella fresh.
Wow. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Disappointing I didn't do how I placed, but I had lots of fun.
Nah, it was
Definitely.
dope.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like nobody wins them all. I mean, that's just the reality, right? Like nobody. So nah, that's fresh. That was hella dope. Again, shout out to Christy Z. Christy Z is so crucial to the global DJ community, especially where battling is concerned. I can't even think of what the battle scene would have been like without her. Like truly, like I don't know what the DJ with the quality and the quantity of American DJing, especially in the battle space, would be if it wasn't for Christy Z.
Definitely. And I just want to echo that sentiment. And the amount of work, the thankless work and hours that she puts in,
Yeah, keyword
Yeah.
is thankless.
the amount of care and love she has for the table and competitors.
Yes.
Um, and I want to share a story. I don't know if she'll be happy if I share this story or not, but it just I'm gonna do it anyway.
Do it.
Well, it was my very first DMC.
Mm,
I decided to go out in New York and compete, and I competed as Akiko Luv, and this was one of my first times competing as her.
yeah.
Um, and I'll tell you, I was like a hot mess at that time. Like I didn't really know hair and makeup at that time.
Right. Right.
And I was kind of more or less like cosplay. Like I had this pink wig on. I had this like Sailor Moon type of outfit on, and
Right.
yeah, just having fun, expressing myself,
Right.
and
Being you.
being me, yeah. And I always wanted to do DMC,
Right.
and it took me like 13, 14 years after. So I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna do it now.
Right. I'm in.
And I would say like I guess people weren't very supportive and may have said some things, and she did what she did and removed these entities there and made that space safe for me.
Nah, see, that's beautiful, man.
I
And that's
never
what
knew that
hip hop
story.
is about,
I never
though.
knew that story, and that just really touches me, and I'm just
For real. Nah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I appreciate you telling that story, because you're guiding me toward this thing that happened to me years ago. And then we're gonna keep pivoting, but so it was like 2000. I think it might have been 2001, but I doubt it. I was on a panel with Grand Mixer DXT and somebody else who goes way back from New York, and I really don't remember who that other person was. No disrespect, it's just kind of like a crazy day. And so, in the middle of this conversation, someone asked, again, this is 2000. Yes, youngster. Yeah, what do you guys say about the lack of like gay, lesbian, trans presence in hip hop, and how do you feel like how come there aren't more big artists like that right now? And like DXT and whoever was with me was not ready for that question really. And it wasn't that they were negative in any way. I could just tell that the question caught them off guard, right? So I'm from the Bay, I don't care. So I was like, I'll answer. I was like, my take on it is that coming into the space, being gay, lesbian, transgender, etc., is not going to matter if you're not dope, right? Like if you cannot rock the mic, it will not matter. Okay. I said like, so when a dope battle DJ shows up, that's when it'll matter. Right. That's when it'll matter. But like, you cannot get props just showing up as you are. And I use the Filipino community as an example. I said, look, when Qbert, Apollo, and Mike first showed up, no one hated on them, but no one cared either. They had to raise the bar for themselves and the art and become the pioneers and the legends and the leaders that they were to make everybody go, damn, these Filipinos are not playing right now on the turns. And that changed everything, right? So I felt the same way. And ironically, earlier this week, my boy Ramen was saying that he was at an event. He runs Rap Force Academy. Everybody follow Rap Force Academy. Everybody follow Ramen Jamal. If you don't know him, he's a dope MC from the Bay, and he's a fantastic teacher of hip hop. For real, especially rap, but he's dope on a lot of levels. So anyway, I'm just going to read this immediately, and then I want your thoughts. Because that was 20 years ago. Now he posts this on October 21st. To what degree does one's self-identification with a culture or community determine their right to be identified as such? Context. In today's meeting, on a prestigious educational committee, members of the Junior League asked about LGBTQ representation within hip-hop culture. The counter question was then posed as to whether a person's sexual identity is more important to their contribution to the culture. The OGs responded that in the early stages of hip-hop, no one cared about your race, gender, sexuality, etc., as long as you were dope at what you do. So why make that the focus? The youth replied that identity politics is an important cultural shift for today's generation who value equitable representation from all walks of life. Point taken. And then he continues to go on, but I wanted to get your take on that theme. Talk to me.
How would you like to know?
What do you think? Like, do you think that because if a trans DJ shows up at an event,
yeah,
but they're not dope and they're not moving the culture and they're not winning,
yeah,
are we supposed to give that DJ just as many props as the cis woman who is handling business on the turns at a higher level? Or like in my day, you had to be raw. Do you still have to be raw? And to what degree are we not?
right.
You know, is that a lowering of the bar? Are we lowering the bar if we say you got to be dope?
I suppose it depends on your framework and your perspective, but I would say like your skills got to speak for itself
first, right? Like who cared about Eminem until he was raw?
Yes.
Right? You were just another white kid trying to rap until bars, right?
Yeah, if you could just close your eyes and listen, right?
Yeah. No, that's how I feel. I really think that that's important, and I think that if we move away from that, hip hop stops being what it could and should be. That's how I feel, because I feel like nothing should matter. I feel like in hip hop, nothing should matter more than skills. At the end of the day,
right?
Nothing should matter more than skills.
Right. And, point taken, I understand celebrating identity. And for me, personally, like, I do agree with you, like, skills speaks by itself, but what I've used battling for is a form of therapy and a form for me to help me really deal with my identity, express myself, stand on my 2 feet and say, this is who I am.
Right.
I'm not an aggressive or violent person.
Right.
I am a fucking bitch and a ruthless competitor when I'm on stage.
This I can attest to, having watched.
And so I lay it all out there. And I've been competing 8 years straight.
Yeah.
COVID gave me a little break. Like I before this battle season, I was a little burnt out, not knowing what was gonna happen, and boom, US, like we got totally impacted, and they're doing online DMCs right now, but I really like the live aspect of it. It just gets me jazzed.
Yeah, no, nothing's like being in a club and like watching it go down. That is fantastic. Well, yo, before we dip, I want to say thank you for being on Bishop Chronicles. I deeply appreciate you. I sincerely appreciate, the sacrifices that you've made to be the DJ that you are, the DJ that you stand as and battle as and represent, from the first time I saw you at the DMC HHCF battle to everything I've seen you do since, to the Lady Snowblood mix. I ain't never forgot that. You know what I'm saying? and you know, I just want to thank you for all the sacrifices that you make to be the amazing human being that you are in hip hop today. I'm authentically grateful, you know.
You're far too kind. Thank you again. I'm super honored. Um, and Adisa, like I feel like we're doing things backward, but I am Akiko Love. I am a transgender female. If that wasn't clear for everyone, my
Yes,
pronouns are she and her. And yeah, like for people who are feeling down, dealing with depression, dealing with trauma, uh, consider looking at the turntablism arts and see what that could offer you.
absolutely, absolutely. Where can people holler at you at?
But to be frank, you know, like you checked out my Facebook page and I was shocked. I'm like, I haven't been active on social media for a good minute,
Yeah, it's
and
important to not be on social media sometimes, though.
it
I need to detox myself. I'm overdoing it.
is definitely a decision for my mental health. But you know, please, you know, look what I have on there. I've made some statements and things I believe in on there. Um, my Instagram, like, at Akiko Love, my YouTube, DJ Kiko Love, and
LUV.
LUV. Yeah, I'll be posting more stuff right now. Like I'm paying dues, learning, and just being in the lab and working on some things. So yeah, look out.
Nah, appreciate you. Well, thank you for being on Bishop Chronicles. And if you're into battling, if you want to learn how to be a better DJ, you got to check out DJ Kiko Love. All right, peace.
Peace and love, Bishop.